Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I'm your host, Hery Acosta. We got some fun little topics to talk about. Let's all just start with the simple one. Uh, Quinton Jackson has re-signed with the Pacers on a two-way deal. Now, he comes off a season where he averaged 5.8 points a game. He had that big game in his first ever start. The guy who can get you pretty much whatever you need from him on the court. He's a good scorer, but he has yet to really build into a rotation type of player. Started his career with Washington, has been with the Pacers the last two seasons. He's been a spark whenever he has played, so it's going to be very interesting to see what he does. Obviously, on a two-way deal, he's going to be playing for Noblesville, and he's going to be playing here in Indy. Obviously, how the two-way works, only a certain amount of games he can be rostered. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does, especially in the G League. He has been very good in the G League, but normally players that are already on NBA rosters tend to do pretty well in the G League. So that's going to be fun to look at. Keep having to bring this up just because analysts keep talking about it. Kevin Pelton came on air and talked about how he was not a fan of Miles Turner walking for nothing. Now, it's between Turner, Pacers, and the Bucks. Turner chose the Bucks. They offered him more money. What else can you do? Now, I wouldn't say by any means the Pacers have had a bad offseason. I mean, the Pacers brought in Jay Huff for practically nothing. They re-signed James Wiseman in a one-year deal for pretty much nothing as well. They've really risked nothing and could end up actually getting a lot more than what they paid for. So that's something that wasn't looked at when it came to this analysis. But I just personally I don't fully agree with Pelton here, just because I think the Pacers have had a decent offseason. Honestly, just really trading for Huff pretty much put us over our cap, just because, yeah, obviously Turner has been here for 10 years. Turner has been a very good player for the Pacers over his time, but there's still just so many things that Turner isn't as a center that we would want from a center. He's not a good rebounder at all. Obviously, I'm not saying that Jay Huff is a good rebounder because he hasn't shown that he has been the best rebounder, but we do have Isaiah Jackson, who is a great rebounder. Tony Bradley's a pretty decent rebounder. Whenever he comes in, he grabs his boards. Wiseman has always been a decent rebounder, so we have the rebounding set. Siakam's a good rebounder at his position. Nesmith's a good rebounder at his position. There's rebounds to go around. Now, Huff's a good three-point shooter. Huff's a good shot blocker. Jackson's a good shot blocker. Jackson's good in the paint. We have centers that are good at different things. Tony Bradley can come in and get you sparks. He's good at boxing out. He was playing in the finals and in the conference finals to make sure players like Mitchell Robinson weren't grabbing as many offensive rebounds, making sure Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren weren't grabbing as many offensive rebounds. So we have our depth in center. We're truly not gonna now. At first, is it going to feel weird that Turner is playing for the Bucks? Yeah, don't get me wrong, that is going to feel pretty weird. But it's not going to be the end of the world. We're going to play him 4 times a year. God knows we might be able to play him in the playoffs in the first round again, just because that's the way it's been going for the past few years. But I truly don't agree with the take here, just because that one move does not define the whole offseason for the Pacers. Pacers are slowly trying to just build on what happened in the finals. They're trying to figure stuff out, and now that Turner's gone, now that Halliburton's out for the season, we haven't lost any other key players. We still have our whole rotation pretty much outside of Turner and obviously Halliburton. But now you got other players that can step into their roles, get the minutes that they want to get, and just see what they can do. That's something that the Celtics are going to end up doing. That's something that the Bucks are going to end up doing now that they got rid of Lillard, and he was already going to be out for the season anyways. There's going to be teams, also the Mavericks, they're not going to have Kyrie for a while. So that's something to definitely look at. I personally do not agree with his opinion, but now we're going to switch over to the Summer League. Some interesting stuff to look for, just seeing how players like Johnny Furphy, how Q, Ray J. Dennis, Enrique Freeman, seeing what they can do. You know, they're all coming into either their second season. Q's coming into, I think it's his fourth season. All good players, all have shown that they can play at the NBA level. Now, are they rotation pieces just yet? Not necessarily. I would like to see someone like Furphy get more involved in the rotation next year, if everything kind of like spreads out itself. I would like to see Enrique Freeman play a little bit of power forward just to kind of see what he can do. I like Ray J. I think Ray J. Dennis is a good player. Obviously, I think Q's a good player too. Now, with the guard depth that we have, bringing in Cam Jones, there's not going to be as many minutes for them. But there's still times where, in like garbage time, they can pretty much just show what they can do. But it's going to be fun to look at the Summer League and just kind of see what the Pacers have to build on and to see what kind of young players that they can really use for next year. And then that brings me over to my last topic, which is just talking about what the future holds for the Pacers. And I'm not just talking about this season just because we know what's going to happen this season. We know that we're going to have to play without Halliburton. We're going to have to figure out if Nembhard can facilitate close to the level that Halliburton does. See what Benedict Mathurin can do as a starter, whether he can average 18, 20, 25 points a game. The ball in his hands, he's going to shoot. Give him more touches, give him more shots. He's going to put up big points, big numbers. He's going to get to the line. Siakam, this is a season for him to average 22, 23 plus. Whoever's playing center, I want a 9 to 10 rebound per game season, just because the Pacers haven't really had that since Sabonis. We haven't really had a 10 rebound a game guy. I can see Isaiah Jackson being that guy, but he's still going to have to fully recover from that Achilles injury. Same with James Wiseman. James Wiseman's almost fully recovered as well. Now, that's the only thing about them getting injured at the beginning of the season last year. They're going to be pretty much ready by the beginning of the year because it is around an 11 to 12-month recovery, and they got hurt back in November. So that's something to look at. I would also want to look at forwards and just seeing how Obi Toppin does because he's still got a few years left on his contract. Siakam signed that big extension last season. So just seeing how all these players do. Now, no team is going to stop trying to like go in for a trade. If the Pacers don't start out well and aren't playing good, teams are going to want to look at players like Siakam, like Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, just trying to see what they can escape from the Pacers if the season doesn't go well. Now, personally, I don't think the Pacers should just throw it all away because this team has had some very good games without Tyrese. Now, don't get me wrong. The main reason that Game 7 was lost wasn't fully because Tyrese was hurt. Now, that was a big reason. Don't get me wrong. He looked like he was about to have a 55-point game. He looked like he was about to go crazy. I mean, three threes in the first 6 minutes. You hadn't seen Halliburton do that since back in the Knicks series. But, I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. Sorry. But just kind of going back to all that, just really seeing how – I remember what I was talking about. The Thunder series, the last game, Pacers kept turning the ball over pretty much every time they had the ball. So if you have that many turnovers against a defense like the Thunder, and the Thunder weren't even playing crazy good. The Thunder shot a worse percentage than we did. It was like 42-40. But just because the Pacers had like 10 or 15 less shots because of the turnover margin, yeah, you're not going to really win that game. But players like McConnell, like Mathurin, they were all stepping up. Siakam had a decent game. But obviously Turner, Nesmith, Toppin were all struggling in that Game 7. But that's in the past. Now we got to work on with what we have for the future. The Pacers are a team to watch this year just to see who can become that guy. Now, I saw a lot of people in the comments, some predictions like Mathurin could be an all-star, Nembhard could be an all-defensive team player. I fully agree with those takes. I also think Nesmith could end up becoming a all-defensive player. I want to see another Siakam all-star appearance. And who knows? The Pacers might surprise people. We've been surprising people for years now. No one expected us to get to the finals, but here we were. We were one game away from winning. But as always, I'm Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go, Sirs.